All right, gang, welcome to the very last episode ever on the Vintage Survival series here on Szpakowo. It has been an absolute blast, this series. The series ended up being a lot longer than we had ever anticipated it being. I know I've mentioned that a number of times over the last handful or so of episodes. But yeah, this series was one that I really only intended to do for 30-ish or so. And this is episode 73, I think, if I got my numbers correct. I believe it's 73 at least. Yeah, episode 73. I just had to double check and make sure that I wasn't lying to all of you. So it has been a journey, this has been, man. We've had a blast with it. We could potentially have carried it on, but I think it is time to move on. We will be doing another Vintage Survival series after this one, I assure you. I'm not sure when that will start. It'll probably be a little bit, but we will be doing one very, very soon after. We are currently at $471,161. Today we have a couple of things that we need to accomplish before we end this series. We have to harvest our soybean field. We're probably going to do another grass harvest one more time just for the fun of it. So we'll probably do that because that's really the only other thing we have to harvest. And the remainder of the stuff is doing some more cleanup work and some maintenance type of stuff, as I normally would call it, like what we're doing right now, moving over the goat milk, moved the honey already over, etc. Right? That kind of stuff is really the remaining thing left to do. I don't think we have anything in our silo anymore. I don't think there's anything, at least in the silo, to move. There's not. So we've kind of got ourselves in a good spot here. So we're just going to kind of clean everything up here a little bit. And we'll kind of be done with the series at that point. It's been fun, man. It's been a blast. Now, if you haven't already, I did start a new series yesterday. Now, that series that I started is a mini-series. It's not intended to be long at all. And as a matter of fact, this one, as I mentioned, wasn't really intended to be that long. But that one's more of like a 10-episode, maybe 20 at the most. I struggled a bit with it. You'll see it once you watch the video if you haven't done so already. It is out. It came out yesterday, so go check that out. That is not the replacement for this series. Just being completely transparent with you, that is not the replacement for this series. That is just another series that I had on my mind that I wanted to do, and I really like the map that I picked for it, and it's just a matter of if we're going to be able to succeed or not. I'm not really going to go into any more detail than that. You'll have to watch it, but you'll get exactly what I mean as soon as I say if we're going to be able to succeed or not on it. I think it's going to be fun, but it's going to be a struggle for sure. So hopefully everyone enjoys it, and hopefully we end up making a full series out of it. Nonetheless, today we have got to go and get the harvest going. So we're going to start off here by jumping into our cloths, which is very, very dirty. We should have washed it last time we were up at the shop, but that's okay. So we've got all those eggs that we have to sell today as well, which is not the best time to sell eggs, but that's okay. We're going to sell them anyway. And really, these soybeans, we're probably just going to sell these outright as well, because there's not really going to be a better time for that. We can also fell the grapes here. As you can see, they are ready, so we can go ahead and trim those or prune those or fell them, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go ahead and buy something to do that as well today. We also probably have some spraying we could potentially do. Now, again, we don't necessarily have to get every single bit of that done today. And the reason why we don't is because this is going to be ending as a working farm. So it's not like every possible thing has to be done, but we do have that option as well to do some of that today, which we may or may not do. We will see where the episode gets to. There's probably not much, actually, now that I think about it, though. Let's take a look at the map here. I don't know if there is anything specifically that is... yeah, so these can get some weeds sprayed in them for sure. We missed some fertilizing on some of those fields as well, which we could potentially do that too. It really just depends on, how much time we have and if we get it all done or not. Anyway, how's everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing well. Things are good, man. Things are good. People were in a town for work, so I've been a little bit behind as far as having videos done early, and then I just had to work on some edits and things like that. So I'm a little behind there, but I'm getting back in the groove here. I'm getting back caught up. Yesterday we also did the recording for the 3rd episode of the competitive one-tile challenge with my friends Crustu and Rusty Money Gaming. For that series, I think we are starting to turn the page a little bit. I think we started out a little bit behind, but I think we're catching up a lot quicker than they might anticipate. We also installed some mods, which I really didn't go through, but we will go through them at some point. One of those mods was specifically the aged goat milk mod, which it's not really specifically called aged goat milk. It's the one we're utilizing in this series, and I said, well, you know, that's something that's going to be really useful and strategic. So we've got that installed as well. I am sure they will figure it out eventually, but if I can get a couple of episodes up on them for getting that in and installed, then, you know, maybe I have a little bit of an advantage there to try to gain some money and claw a little bit of money back in a quicker pace, if you will, right? That series has been a blast so far. We're kind of doing some sabotaging to each other, and it's harmless sabotaging, not like I'm actually causing them the ability to not, you know, succeed or anything like that, but just, you know, pointless, harmless stuff. We've been doing that back and forth, and it's been pretty fun. At least it's been good entertainment to watch, right? It's been a lot of fun to watch from the perspective of each other and how things have been going. This is bittersweet, this series, man. I've had so much fun with them, and it you know, it makes me want to continue it, but it's time, man. We're 72 episodes in. It's time to move on to something else. I've got a lot of other ideas on the list. I've talked about that. A lot of new maps have come out. A lot of new, really exciting, good maps have come out. So, you know. And as much as some people have liked this series, it has started to drop as far as viewership goes as well, and it's just because it's, you know, it's been such a long series, I think. And there wasn't, I mean, besides utilizing the old equipment, there wasn't really a whole lot to it other than that, and that was by design, right? That was the purpose. So now, we should, today, with selling the eggs especially, not even counting the soybeans here, we should easily get over $500,000, so $500,000, plus everything that we own. We've got quite a lot of money, if I'm honest with you. We've got a lot of land, we've got a lot of equipment, so we really did create something special here. We've got quite a really nice farm, a very successful farm, for sure. The city probably hates me a bit because I have kind of taken over everything. I've got to... in so few words, I guess, or in lack for better words, I guess I've kind of, you know, capitalized on all of the land surrounding them and kind of bought out most of the farmers, at least in the area of the main road, right? All the small farmers or the people that actually own some of the land with the barns and everything. They're I mean, maybe they have some other land, but they don't really have anything directly behind where their barns are, right? So kind of capitalize a little bit of a monopoly around this area. It's been good, man. It's been good. It's been a blast. Very, very happy that I decided to do this type of series. I was very, you know, when we first started this series many months ago, you know, I was kind of back and forth on even if it was going to be a successful series or not, if it was going to succeed of any way, because there's multiple reasons for that, and I'm not looking for sympathy, excuses, none of that. I'm just kind of talking to you, so just bear with me for a minute. But, you know, I'm on console. Everyone knows that, I think, for the most part, unless you stumbled across this. So I have, you know, limited abilities for what I can actually include in a series, right? I have to utilize whatever's on Mod Hub. I don't have the ability for, you know, like the lumberjack mod where I can just, you know, chop down a tree and then get rid of the stump immediately. I don't have that. I don't have the ability for super strength with the exception of, you know, being able to lift pallets and bales. That's the extent that we get on console, right? So I've got some limitations, so I was concerned with how this was going to actually work and if it was going to even work successfully or not. And obviously it did, because we were 73 episodes in, so obviously it did work. But I was concerned about it, I guess is how I will put it, right? I was struggling with the fact that this might not work at all, and that's really why I think initially I said it was probably going to be a 30-ish episode series, which is what your typical series would be for something that was a good idea, maybe didn't come to fruition as well as you would hope, right? Realistically, I think a series should be somewhere in the 50-ish range most of the time. I think a little bit longer than that, unless it's a super successful series for one reason or another, I think you start to lose a little bit of interest in the series. And when I say you lose a little bit of interest, it's just not watched as much as it might have been when it first came out. I don't know why that is. Maybe there's multiple reasons for that. Maybe you just don't like the individual doing it. Maybe you don't like me, whoever. It doesn't really matter. That's not the point I'm trying to get at. I think from the analytics that I get from YouTube and just from the generalization, 50 is a kind of a sweet spot there, and that's the same thing with how long I try to keep my videos, right? I try to keep my videos around 30 to 45 minutes, and that's the same kind of thing, right? I get that from the analytics. Now, I totally get there are some individuals who want to and enjoy longer videos or don't really care, and that's great. That's perfectly fine. But me, myself, at some point, I don't say running out of ideas is not the correct word, but you've put in a lot of stuff, you've done a lot of things. It's hard to, how can I put it? It's hard to keep a series running for much longer than we are running right now with this series, without it feeling a bit stale, I guess is how I will put it. And then when I have the restriction of the older equipment, which I've mentioned many times before, if I could pick, I would always pick older equipment. It's just my personal preference. But it does, restrict you with being able to, incorporate, new machinery and new things, right? You've got a very limited thing you can choose between. So, I guess that's what I'm trying to get at is that, there's only so much you can really do before it gets to a point where you're like, I'm struggling to come up with new, fresh ideas to keep everyone interested. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Maybe your argument could say, well, you didn't need to do this kind of restriction on it. You didn't need to pick. You're right, I didn't. But I'm just saying, when you do have something like that for a series that you're wanting to do, it does become more difficult the further it goes because you have less things to incorporate that are new. I guess that's really what I'm trying to get at, right? So your ideas are, I don't want to say pointless because that's not the right word. I'm kind of blanking on the word I'm looking for, but I guess they're just kind of stymied a little bit, because you gotta factor in, does it fit in with the type of series we're doing, etc., right? That's why we kind of slightly broke the rules a bit with the grape harvesting stuff, right? We talked about that a little bit. I think you get the point anyway, at least. I think you do. Hopefully you do. So, let's get to work here. We're going to get the rest of this field harvested up, and then, like I said, we will more than likely harvest the grass field, and then we'll kind of see about spraying some stuff, potentially fertilizing, etc. We'll see what else we can get into today, and then eventually, towards the end there, we'll work on selling the soybeans here. Once the harvest is done, we'll work on selling the eggs, and then maybe anything else that I'm kind of forgetting about that could be sold. We will do that as well. I think most of our productions are on auto sell right now. So it's just going to be the stuff, that doesn't have the ability to be put onto auto sell, right? That we'll have to deal with. But let's get moving, and we'll see what we'll get to, and we'll go from there. Okay, we are struggling heavily here, gang. I'm going to do everything I can here to try to keep this working, but we are heavily struggling here. This is too big of a tractor for doing what we're trying to do here. I was able to make it work, but only just was I able to make it work. I'm a little concerned about going down the middle here. Well, I guess we'll see what happens here, but I have a feeling we're going to be having some heavy struggles here. But let's see what happens, I guess. Yep, that's kind of what I was afraid of, is what's happening right now. So it works. It just doesn't really work well. I mean, clearly, right? We are struggling. Yeah, this is not going to work. I mean, we are having all sorts of trouble here. This is the pruning from hell, if you will. Here, I mean, I'm absolutely destroying this machinery in real life right now. I shouldn't be using this tractor. I know somebody's yelling at me in the comments already. What are you using that tractor for? See, it's obviously not going to work. You're right. It's the wrong tractor. Was trying to be a little cheap and save money by not buying a grape or a vine tractor, excuse me. The biggest problem really with that is I'm struggling to find any tractor for grape and vine, or vine harvesting in general, that is to code. And what I mean by to code is the age that we're looking for. Everything's too new. So this might be a situation where we got some of it done, and we might not be able to do all of it. Now, I also had to buy 2 of these fellers, or pruners, whatever you want to call them. The one, for whatever reason, I don't understand why, this one has like no attach point. So maybe it's... I mean, actually, if you look at it closely, it does look like there's an attach point right there, but... yeah, I don't know. It didn't have the typical attach points that I need. Which I'm blanking on the name of, and somebody's probably going to correct me already on that as well. But, you know, anyway, it just wasn't going to work for us. So we're going to lose a little bit of money in that sense, unfortunately. Why does it say we have 2 Lizard 8050s? Weird. I know we didn't buy 2. If we have a second one, I don't know where the heck it is. All right, so we're just going to sell this one outright. It's unfortunate. We lost a little bit of money on that, but, you know, that's all right. That's fine. It could be worse. So we'll fold this up for the time being, and we'll go ahead and put this away. And we'll kind of leave the grapes in the situation that they're currently in for... Really, Scarlet? Really? You saw me going across. Come on, man. We'll leave this in the situation that it's currently in. And state whoever is going to take over the farm from our point forward and continue to work it and operate it is going to have to deal with that, right? We're leaving it a working farm on purpose, right? So, somebody else can deal with it. That's how we're going to put it. Let's see. It is November. We can't really drill anything at all right now, but what we can do is plow up some of the fields, and more specifically, the cornfield is what I'm referencing. That was harvested in the last episode. And get that prepped and ready to go, right? Looks like the worker just finished the harvest for us, so that's good too. So we can go ahead and get the rest of that unloaded. And then really, we can just go sell those soybeans outright. I'm not sure where we're going to sell them at. I have to look that up still, but we will do that as well. Then we're going to stack the eggs up. I think I'm going to kind of forego doing a couple of the things that I talked about early on, just based off of time restrictions alone. But we will do some of them, for sure. Some of them absolutely will happen. Now, let's see. Yeah, both of these fields actually They haven't even been re-drilled yet. So can we spray them? Sure we could, but we don't necessarily need to. So I guess I was incorrect on my statement about spraying. It's more of those fields have been harvested, and they just got weeds growing in them right now because we haven't re-drilled anything. There's nothing to re-drill. So really it's just the plowing that we can do at this point. And like I said, we're going to start with the cornfield first here. We'll get the worker going on that, and if we have the time, I don't think we will, but if we have the time, we'll have the worker start working on some other fields as well, with plowing them up. Alright, so that's good. We'll do a quick autosave here. I'm going to turn the menu back off. I don't need that. I had that menu on because I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on with the grapes there, right? The struggle that I was having with the grapes. So now, soybeans are not going to be good to sell right now. We know that. 100% fact, we know that. But, again, we're not going to continue the series, so we are going to sell them and just see how much money we get out of them anyway. It's better than no money. Let's see. Soybeans. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Fit Plon. Or Spasco Pro SA, which I think is the normal place we go, right? Yeah, well, one of the normal places. Where's this Fit Pro? Or Fit Prawn? Where is that at? I don't think we've ever been there, have we? Where's that? Oh, we have. Okay, it's a long time ago, but we have been there. Okay, I remember where that is. And the Hendrix, we've 100% been to that one. But now I forget where it is. Where is that one? Okay, so it's that way. Oh, not that one. I don't see it flashing on the map. Maybe I'm just blind, but I don't see it. It's this way. Oh, right here. Yeah, we've been here. This is up by the shop. So yeah, we've been there too. Okay, so we've been all those places. So it really doesn't matter which one we go to. I mean, I guess we take the best price, right? So I guess we're going to the Spac Pro SA. That's where we're going to go, which is our normal location we've been to many times. We'll go ahead and fold this up, though, and get this kind of put away, and then we can go and sell that. Or sell that. Sell the soybeans is what I meant to say. I mean, technically it is, I guess saying sell that works, I guess, in this instance, but really I meant sell the soybeans, not the harvester. We're not selling the harvester. Now, I talked already briefly about, the series that came out yesterday and how it was not the replacement for this one. There is a replacement for this one. I'm taking a little bit more time on it, so it probably won't be released more than likely until next week. The first episode, I mean. Yeah, it'll probably be next week, unless something changes. It's probably going to be next week. There were a few things that I'm still trying to make slightly better. I know that probably doesn't make any sense. Where am I going? I'm driving this to the sell point. Like, what am I doing right now? Anyway, I'm trying to make a few things on that series a little bit cleaner. And when I mean cleaner, I mean just make it, it appear to be a little bit of a better thought out situation, I guess is how I'll put it. I'm really struggling now. Oh my goodness. What am I doing? So it's something that's a work in progress. It's very, very close. I think I could, go ahead and start it tomorrow if I really wanted to, and it probably would be fine. But I'm seeing if I can clean up a few other things and try to make it slightly better. So a work in progress, but it will be sometime next week. It will be started. Now, again, it's a series that I expect will be somewhere around 30-ish episodes, maybe slightly less, maybe slightly more, but somewhere around that. I don't think it'll be a series that will be extended any longer than that. Although I said that, about this series, and we extended this series by more than double. So, I guess you never know, I guess is what I should say. But right now, my vision is not to extend it at all any longer than that 30 episode mark. And you will see why when you see it. Most of my members probably already know why. But I'm working on it nonetheless, so we will see. I guess there's always a chance that I might, make a last minute shift if it's not, getting to fruition that I want. And what I mean by fruition that I want is it's not, up to the par that I'm looking for the actual series itself to begin, and maybe I need to have a bit of a rethink a little bit further. Then that's what we will do, right? We'll pivot, but that's not the intent. The intent is to get it out sometime next week, so we will see. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be different than this one for sure. It's going to be different than a lot of them, and yeah, it'll be interesting. It's a survival series, though, so it'll be interesting. Not a challenge, but a survival series nonetheless. All right, we are pulling up here. We're going to go ahead and turn in for one of the last times. We might be taking the eggs over here, too, but these guys are still working on that piping, man. I don't know how many years it's been. They still haven't fixed that pipe. They are just raking in the money. You would have thought that pipe would have been well over and fixed by now, but they're still working on it. All right, so this will get us close to 500,000. 490,357, and that's after our fumble a little bit with the grapes, losing a little bit of money there, and then having to buy the grape pruner, right? So if we didn't have to do those things, if we didn't even make the fumble, we would have been over 500,000 right now without the eggs. Now, 9 o'clock hits. I didn't really pay attention to it, but we probably did sell some of the stuff, because we've got some stuff being created and made in our productions, and we've got it all on auto selling, right? So there's probably some stuff that's sold, I would think, at 9 o'clock. I just didn't really pay attention to be able to tell you how much was sold. But I'm sure if you look back at the beginning of this episode compared to now, you can probably figure it out pretty easily, right? Sometimes the semi, when you slow down the turn, it just goes to a dead stop. I guess it's because you're probably close to being, jackknifing it, if you will, but anyway. Let's get back, and we'll see where we go to next. All right, we are back. We're going to go ahead and park this up in its normal location. I think the next thing we're going to do, we'll utilize, yes, who's the steer? We're going to get the mower out. We're going to get the grass mowed. We'll get it put into a nice windrow. May not end up baling it, but we're probably going to get it at least mowed. Then we'll probably take care of the eggs, and we'll see where we're at that point. All right, I was going to just put the time lapse in of me heading all the way down here to the shop and sell them, but then I thought for a second, wait a minute, is there a second one? I couldn't remember. There isn't. This is the best one. It actually is the best time to sell them, and the price is dropping, so we definitely need to get up here and sell these. This is going to be some pretty good money here. They're going to make $2,500 per, which is fantastic. So you can do the math there. Almost 9,000 eggs there. It does the math right there. You know exactly how much money we're going to get. It'll put us over 500,000, only just, but it will put us over 500,000. And I think the worker finished the plowing, or they just finished the plowing. So this is probably going to be the last thing we do today, honestly. I decided in that time-lapse as well to go ahead and do the baling of the grass. And it was literally mid-time-lapse when I'm doing the mowing. I decided, you know what, I'm just going to bale them up too. And we're not going to pick the bales up. We're just going to leave the bales there. But we're going to go ahead and get them baled as well. But yeah, this is going to be it, gang. Once we sell this, this will be the end of the series. Again, very bittersweet series. I've had a lot of fun with it. It's been a blast. I know a lot of people this was their favorite series. So for those of you that it was, I do apologize. I am sorry that it is ending. But again, it will be back in some form or another. Some iteration of a vintage survival will be back before you know it. I promise. In the meantime, as I mentioned, look out for some other stuff that we got going on the farm, like the competitive one-tile challenge. There's going to be a survival series that's going to replace this. I have a mini-series called the Mountain Survival, which, again, was the one that I was talking about that came out yesterday. We've got a wreck here. Happens a lot on this map for some reason. Yeah, we still have our Aqua Farm series going as well, which I've had a lot of fun with that. I'm very happy with that series, so a lot of good stuff going on, man, and there's a lot of good stuff coming down the pipe, too. I promise. There's a lot of good stuff coming down the pipe. A lot of exciting stuff. Like I said, I've got, well, I think I've got 25 or so different ideas on paper to plan to do here at some point. So there's a lot of good stuff coming, man. A lot of good stuff. So there we go. We end up with $513,295 in the bank account, plus all the equipment we own, which, again, it is a lot of money. I wish it gave me like a total volume amount. It doesn't, but I wish it did, right? But yeah, there's a lot, man. We've got a lot of money on hand. Maybe it does in the finances. I don't think I've ever looked at that. Does it say how much? No, it doesn't look like it does, because this is all just, you know, income, etc. Sold products. It doesn't actually tell you what your assets are. I think that would be something cool to add in the future, is if they had a column or something, a line item, I guess, that told you what your total assets were. That gives you kind of your total amount, right? So if you have $513,000 in the bank, and then you have $500,000 in assets, you know, there you go, right? You got $1 million in total. But anyway, enough about that. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you to my members especially. I cannot thank you guys enough. If you haven't done so already and you stumbled across this, smash the like and subscribe button for me. They're free. They help me a ton. Check out the other series, as I mentioned. I don't think you'll regret it. There's a Discord down there. Go ahead and join that. You can share your progress on any series you're doing. My other channel's down there as well if you're interested in that. That's not Farming Simulator or simulation related in general. Everything you need, as I always mention, it's all down below. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for your continued support, especially over 73 episodes. That's crazy, man. This is, I think, the longest series I've ever done. I'm pretty sure it is. If it's not the longest, it's very close to being the longest. So, very successful, very fun. We will be back for another vintage series in the near future. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.